Hello artist friends, how are you? I am doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be painting two beautiful roses from one of my favorite books called The Book of Flowers by Pierre Joseph Redouat. It's these two Austrian roses and I'll be painting them in my sketchbook, which I've already done because I'm filming the intro right after. So if you like what you see, please continue watching and paint with me. Let's dive right in. So we are gonna look through one of my most favorite books, Book of Flowers, and trying to select a vintage rose to paint. And I have a bookmark in one of the pages already, and I thought, why not? We're gonna paint these two gorgeous Austrian roses. I'm using a sketchbook today, and it's a sketchbook. I can't remember the name, but I got it off Temu, and I will link it below. It's not 100% cotton, but it's a really cute sketchbook, which is sort of opens to a landscape. And I've put masking tape around just to create a cute little border. And this masking tape is actually from Meeden Art, and I'll also link that in the description below. You don't have to use masking tape. I thought I just want to create a cute little border for the sake of it. So I'm using a 1/2 inch flat brush today, and I got a lot of my scarlet red because that red is just this beautiful orangey, warm red that will fit my petals perfectly. The way I paint, if you follow me now, is quite quick, quite fast. I like to put down a stroke and not go too much back and try to make too many adjustments. And I love a flat brush to create petals for a lot of flowers actually. And these roses are a perfect way to paint these petals with this flat brush. So these are not your typical roses that you see nowadays, and I think it's more of an old style classic rose. It says it's an Austrian rose. If you are interested to look at the reference photo, and if you have this book, then that's wonderful. If not, I actually have the reference image on my Patreon as a Patreon perk. So sign up for my Patreon at the cheapest tier, which is $5 a month, and every YouTube tutorial that I post will be accompanied with the reference photo so that you're able to follow along a little bit better. So it's just a little Patreon perk that I like to offer my Patreons. So now I swapped to a size 10 round brush. This is a Princeton Aqua Elite, and it's a very new brush that I bought recently, and it's actually featured in my last video, which I talk about the 5 different Princeton round brushes that you can find in the Princeton line. And it doesn't hold as much water as the Heritage, I find, but it's got a super nice point now, so I am taking advantage of it, and I'm really enjoying painting those really thin branches. And I'm using that same brush, and I'm using very simple strokes here to just paint those leaves that I see. I like to vary my leaf colors. So my leaf here, my base is always a sap green. I add sometimes olive green, I add blue, I add yellow, and I try my best to change up the value. So sometimes I add a bit more water for certain leaves, and then some I add less. So I'm not too worried which one I do, more or less water. I just make sure that they're all sort of like different. So it appears that these leaves here are very olivey and green, and I kind of like it. Sometimes I just lean more into like a warm side of the greenish scale. So I'm painting this really quickly, as you can see, just going in. Don't be too fast about how much, whether each leaf is correctly placed or any of that. So I know it is, everyone has their own speed, but for me, I do like to paint quickly. And as you can tell, I'm not hurried or anyway. I just tend to be, I guess, more sure about where I place certain things. I apologize when my hand is blocking the particular view, because I am only using one camera at this moment for my YouTube tutorials. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this left side of my sketchbook spread. And now I'm adding a little bit of yellow to those top buds there. And with that same yellow, I believe it's a cadmium yellow, I am just putting in the little yellow bits in the middle of this very simple rose composition. Super happy with that. Yeah, that took about less than 5 minutes. I really encourage you to try to paint quick. And obviously, this takes practice and this takes time. You go at your own pace. But I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes you want a painting to look effortless, and one way to go about doing that is to exactly that. Don't put too much effort in, and by putting down the strokes confidently and leaving it moving on, that's a way of making your painting look effortless. So I wasn't gonna actually, flip to another page to look for another rose, but I thought, why not just paint the other one that's on the opposite side? And this one is a yellow Austrian rose. So I think it's actually probably the exact same variety, except that it's yellow in color. So it's sort of like almost a chance to practice it again. Using the flat brush again this time, and it's really two main roses. The first one, I made it a little bit fatter, a little bit bigger, and then the next one, I just add a bit more water to just lighten it up a little bit. So if you love vintage florals like I do and you want to recreate them, but you're not really interested in creating, the detailed way that, people, botanical artists in the past used to, which is a way for people, scientists, to document all these beautiful plants. And in the past, where you don't have very advanced cameras and photography, it was one way to depict the reality, and how I can't even find words, how the plant is exactly, realistically, yes. But if you don't want to paint realistically and you want to paint it in loose style, but you still love that beauty of the vintage florals, the style, which, the style of vintage florals, especially with Pierre-Joseph Redouat, this artist, it's really, he really, he makes these flowers, these roses, seem like they're humans almost. Like each one of them has this personality. The way the flower is, looking, a flower can actually look sad, look crestfallen, and there's just something really romantic and beautiful about his paintings. And I just feel like I want to recreate them, but in my own loose style. If you love this and you want to go deeper into this world of loose florals, recreating them with recreating vintage flowers in my loose style, I have a course that's coming up this September with Pennsylvania Art Studio. It's a 5-week course online on Zoom. And instead of like quick tutorials like this, we'll actually really dive deeper into the brush strokes, the techniques, the color mixing. We talk about the composition and the values, and of course we will, be painting so many beautiful vintage floral, not just from Pierre-Joseph Redouat, but from other botanical vintage illustrations of the past. So that starts in September 2024, and you can sign up or find out more in a link in the description that I'll put below here. This is the second time I'm doing it with Pen Art Studio. I really thought the first time we did it last year was amazing. So I really hope to have another wonderful 5 weeks with some amazing painters that we can connect online on Zoom together. All right, so I'm really being quite quick with this one. I'm almost finished. I think what I do now is just put in a little dark center using some burnt umber right in the middle. So in that little white space, just be careful not to put too much so that it doesn't spread everywhere. And I decided to put some on the edges too, just to, you know, put a bit of shadowy marks here and there. And I'm gonna leave this tutorial as just one layer, just simple, sometimes simple and easy and just essential, beautiful shapes are the best. So yeah, there you have it. Just 2 simple vintage roses painted in about 10 minutes. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed painting along. Remember to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my mailing list and if you haven't. And if you're interested in the course that I was telling you about, if you want to go deep with me for 5 weeks, 2.5 hours each week, we will be painting and painting and painting so many vintage florals. We'll be learning all the skills that goes along with it. Find out more in the link I will put below. It's called Recreating Vintage Florals in Watercolor with me, Crystal. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.